Hey guys, back again. This time to chat a little bit about Seattle and Dallas. Definitely one of the marquee games of the weekend. I would say, it's probably going to be one of my favorite games to watch. Really, just because I think you have a team in Dallas that has such a bad rap for what they can't do in the playoffs, and Jerry Jones, and his lack of ability to hire relevant coaches, and he loves Jason Garrett, who's won nothing over the last 9 years. But an interesting spot for them here, and I think Seattle is getting a decent amount of love, at least from the public, because you got Russell Wilson, playoff caliber, Super Bowl winner, Pete Carroll, Super Bowl winner, heading into the playoffs. Okay, so line opened Dallas -2.5, total 41.5. We got it right now at Dallas -2 or 1.5, depending on the site you're on. Totals up to 43. If I could be honest, I think that Seattle's getting a little too much respect here. I know that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, this is a weekend where a lot of underdogs, a lot of underdogs are all live," and that's all fair and that's fine. I just think that, as I discussed with the last video, even this one now, it's all about favorable numbers. I think, when you look at Dallas, right? 7-1. Is it 7-1? Just want to confirm. Yep. 7-1 at home. Lone loss to Tennessee on Monday Night Football. 8-2 since they traded for Amari Cooper. This is a team that, has just been sound. The last team to beat Philly. Big Dick Nick, I feel like he gets a mention in every one of these videos. But Seattle on the other side of the spectrum is 4-4 on the road. They've struggled on the road. Like I said, so I think they're just getting a lot of respect here. I think that people don't realize how good Seattle has been at home, and how average they've been on the road. These are just two teams, Dallas and Seattle, that both have really heavy home road splits, which isn't something you would think would happen in the NFL, to this extent. But look, I mean, Cowboys trade for Mark Cooper gives them a whole new life. And, even though he's only had a few really good games for them, I'm sure he's done a lot to the secondaries. I'm sure he's opened up a little bit for Zeke as well. I'm sure the play action helps Cooper. I'm sure the deep threat that he's become has helped Zeke. It's kind of been like a chicken and egg scenario there, together, because they're ultimately helping each other prosper. And as it relates to Seattle, Seattle has a very average defense this year. I mean, I know that people thought they were going to have one of the worst defenses in the league, because they lost all their players. The Legion of Boom gone, but ultimately, they've had an average defense, maybe even a little below average. Definitely not a playoff caliber defense. Now, what is interesting about them is, and what Brian Schottenheimer, their offensive coordinator, has done, is they've been extremely impressive running the ball. And I think that Seattle, like for me, if I'm looking at this game, like I would think Seattle would have been like a bad matchup for a team like the Saints or a team like the Rams, a team that can pile up points, where Seattle's run game can really stagnate, um, you know, an offense like, New Orleans or the Rams. I think in Dallas's case, like Dallas does a lot of the same things Seattle does, except it just kind of feels like they do it better. I mean, like, you know, Dallas is they're a better offensive team. They have a much better defense. They play much better at home. The only way I really see Seattle going into Dallas and coming out with a victory here is they really will literally have to average 6 or 7 yards a carry. Pick up 7 yards on first downs, and they're just dealing with second and third and shorts nearly all game. I just feel like, if Seattle gets into a situation where, they hand it off to Chris Carson first down and second down, then you got Russell Wilson dealing with third and longs. They're only going to be able to complete so many of them. Their wide receiver core is really not that good. Doug Baldwin's really taken a step back this year. Tyler Lockett's been somewhat okay for them. Nothing incredible. Nick Vanette's one of their tight ends, very average. Their passing game is just very average. And look, give all the credit in the world to Russell Wilson. He can extend plays with his legs. Scramble, run past, run for first downs if he has to. Ultimately, wait for somebody to get open. I just feel like Dallas is pound for pound so much better than this team. Granted, if this game was played in Seattle, I'd have a little bit of a different perspective, just because like the home road splits I mentioned. Seattle is so good at home, very average on the road. Dallas very good at home, very average on the road. And to Dallas's credit, this game's going to be in Dallas. I just got to go with the better team here, better team at home. So what I really like is I really like Dallas for the game. -2. Really like them here. Just think of another situation where people, too many people have the perspective of Dallas of, oh, this team really can't win playoff games. I mean, the truth is they really haven't been to the playoffs. I mean, they've only been to the playoffs, one or two times over the last, 7 years or so. The Tony Romo botched snap comes to mind. I feel like everybody remembers that. People, if they're going to bet this game, they're just going to think about that, even though that has no relevance at all in this game whatsoever. There'll be the people that some borderline think, Dallas is cursed and can't win with Jerry Jones. Regardless, it's one game. It's one game. Dallas is home. Dallas has been good at home all year. Dak's been better. I wouldn't say that, late in the game, I trust Dak. I trust Dak to bring Dallas out of a hole and win the game if they're trailing and late in the fourth quarter. But I guess what I'm getting is I don't expect that to be the case. I mean, Seattle is a very, very average to below average team for the first three quarters. Russell Wilson has put on quite some shows in the fourth quarter this year, and he's been doing that for the last few years. I just feel like Dallas they're a team that's built to play from ahead. Once they get ahead, it's tough to catch them. A lot of teams have experienced this, especially when Dallas plays at home. If Seattle's going to continue on par with what they've done all year, which has been play very poorly or average on the road for the first three quarters, and then have Russell Wilson kind of do some magic against a prevent defense with the hopes of winning the game late, I'm not really for it. I'm not really in that lane as it relates to this game. Definitely on the Dallas side. My favorite bet for sure is going to be Dallas for the first half. Money line. I'm seeing that money line at -120. To me, that is an awesome bet. To be clear, Dallas has not trailed once this year at home heading into halftime. So I really like that bet. And meanwhile, Seattle's 1-6 on the road heading into halftime. You're talking about a team in Seattle that really can't stress this enough, guys. Seattle really starts off slow. Now, I'm not saying Pete Carroll and Schottenheimer offensively, they can't come up with a good game plan to get the offense flowing and moving, maybe get some early points. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm just saying it hasn't happened all year. You'd be crazy to expect it to. Meanwhile, Dallas is a team that's come out pretty well scoring the ball at home, moving the ball on offense. Obviously, they have no problem going to Cooper, going to Beasley, Blake Jarwin, lightning in a bottle last week against the Giants. He's actually played pretty well. 3 of his last 4, he's gone over like 45 receiving yards. He's been targeted 7 times, 3 of his last 4. They're trying to get the tight ends involved. Obviously, they like Jarwin, the Oklahoma State native. He was very average there too. But hey, to each his own. The fact that he's playing as well as he is and Dak trusts him, I think that's good. Dak's been looking for that Jason Witten guy that he can go to on third and shorts, 3rd and 5 and 6 across the middle. So good for them with that and the chemistry they've developed. I do believe it's all going to help towards Dallas playing really well. I mean, like I said, I can't envision a scenario where Seattle goes into Dallas and just rolls them, right? I can envision a scenario where Dallas at home rolls Seattle. I just feel like you have so much of a better team in Dallas. Can't stress this enough. I feel like 2 is a very solid number. Look, anything can happen any given Sunday. But again, we're here looking for edges. We're here looking for spots, for good spots to find favorable numbers. Dallas -2 for the game is a favorable number. My favorite bet of this game, though, is Dallas first half money line -120. I guess if you have to lay a half a point, if you can get dog money, it'd be great. Keep in mind, though, Dallas has not trailed once this year heading into halftime. And Seattle's 1-6 on the road heading into halftime, so definitely love that bet. Going off that trend there. Give you a player prop that I like for the game. I'm seeing Zeke's receiving yards prop at 37.5. Rushing yard prop was a little high for me. I was seeing it in the low 90s, high 80s. Nothing that I really want to play around with. Tough to kind of expect a running back to get that, despite how many touches he'll have. However, receiving wise, Zeke's gone over this 3 of his last 4 games. He's gone over 37.5 receiving yards. He hasn't caught less than 5 balls in a game since the first week of November. He's averaged 8 catches and about 55 yards a game over his last 3. He's coming off a game where he had off. They gave him off against the Giants game. He's going to be healthy, fresh legs. Clearly, Zeke has taken that next step up as a receiver this year, trying to get into that Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley, maybe even David Johnson if you still have him in that argument of top running backs, especially top pass-catching running backs. So Zeke, kudos to him. He's really become a really good receiving back. And I think that, if you think that train's going to stop against Seattle on Saturday, I think you'd be crazy. 37.5 for me is a soft number. I feel like if anything, he could go much higher over that. If anything, he'll just fall short of it. But I just think there's a lot of solid value there. 37.5 -110 over. You may be able to get less. That's the number I'm seeing. Love that number, and I love his chances to go over that number. Don't really see any props on the Seattle side. Like there's just so much variance on Seattle's team with how their offense moves. I mean, Chris Carson, is their running back, but if he has a bad series or two, Pete Carroll has no issue going to Rashad Penny, going to Mike Davis. It's just not a situation I really want to play around with. Russell Wilson's a bit volatile as well because you never know where his stats are going to be. So I do like the Zeke prop over receiving yards, 37.5. And just to recap, give me Dallas first half money line minus 120. It's my favorite bet of this game. And then again, Dallas -2 for the game, -1.5, whatever you're getting. I like both those numbers. And Zeke over 37.5 receiving yards. Let's basically wrapping up the video. Again, a little longer than I want it to go. Sometimes I get stuck rambling. Apologize for that. But look, I hope as usual you found the video informative. Hope you can use this video to help yourself bet the game. Maybe even post some bets you're going to make for the game. Maybe I didn't mention something that you wanted some clarity on. Feel free to post a comment. Love when you guys comment. Comment back as soon as I can. And again, good luck, guys. Gave you the other game for Saturday between Texans and Colts. So definitely check that out. And again, thanks again for viewing, and good luck Saturday.